Right now, in the room or building you work in, there are almost certainly chemicals capable of burning your skin, damaging your lungs, or worse. And most of them are sitting in ordinary-looking containers. The label on that container isn't decoration, it's the only thing standing between you and a hazard you can't see coming. Today, you're going to learn how to read it. This training applies to nearly everyone at this facility, not just people who work directly with chemicals. Cleaning products, adhesives, fuels, and even office supplies can qualify as hazardous chemicals under OSHA's Hazard Communications Standard. If you've ever picked up a spray bottle, a can of solvent, or a bag of powder at work, this training is for you. By the end of this video, you'll be able to read a chemical label and understand exactly what it's telling you. You'll recognize the 9 GHS hazard pictograms on site. You'll know what a safety data sheet is and where to find one. And you'll understand your basic right to know and your basic responsibility to protect yourself around any hazardous chemical at this facility. OSHA's Hazard Communication Standard exists to guarantee something simple but critical: your right to know what chemicals you're working around and how to protect yourself from them. It requires manufacturers to classify chemical hazards, label containers clearly, and provide detailed safety information. And it requires your employer to make all of that information available to you and to train you on how to use it. The United States aligned its Hazard Communication Standard with an international framework called the Globally Harmonized System, or GHS. This means the same chemical hazard label looks essentially the same whether you're in this facility, a different state, or a different country. That consistency is what allows you to recognize a hazard instantly, even on a chemical you've never seen before. Quick check: true or false? Only workers who use chemicals as part of their main job duties need to understand hazard communication basics. False. Nearly every employee works around hazardous chemicals in some form, even if it's just a cleaning product or a can of compressed air. HazCom awareness protects everyone who might encounter, smell, or accidentally be exposed to a hazardous chemical, not just the people who use them every day. Every hazardous chemical label is required to have 6 specific elements: a product identifier naming the chemical, a signal word, either danger or warning, showing severity, one or more hazard statements describing the specific danger, precautionary statements telling you what to do about it, pictograms, the red bordered symbols we'll cover next, and supplier information identifying who made or supplied the chemical. Signal words tell you severity at a glance. Danger means a more severe hazard. Think corrosive chemicals or highly flammable materials. Warning means a less severe but still real hazard. Neither word means safe to ignore. Both mean stop, read further, and follow the precautions listed before you handle that container. There are 9 standardized pictograms you'll see on hazardous chemical labels, each inside a distinctive red diamond border. Flame for flammables. Corrosion for materials that damage skin or metal. Skull and crossbones for acute toxicity. Health hazard for long-term effects like cancer or organ damage. Exclamation mark for irritants. Gas cylinder for compressed gases. Exploding bomb for explosives. Flame over circle for oxidizers. And environment for aquatic toxicity. Learning to recognize these on site is one of the fastest ways to protect yourself. Hazard statements describe the specific danger in plain language, things like causes severe skin burns or may cause respiratory irritation. Precautionary statements tell you the specific action to take: wear protective gloves, use only outdoors, or avoid breathing dust. Together, these 2 statements turn a pictogram into an actual action plan for staying safe. Scenario: you pick up a spray bottle at work with a label showing a flame pictogram and the word danger. You don't recognize the specific product. What should guide your very next action? The answer is B. A flame pictogram paired with danger means this product is highly flammable and potentially severe. Before doing anything else, read the label's hazard and precautionary statements, and if you need more detail, check the safety data sheet, which we're covering next. Never guess with an unfamiliar chemical, and never use smell as a safety test. A safety data sheet, or SDS, is a detailed document that goes far beyond what fits on a label. It covers first aid measures, firefighting information, handling and storage instructions, exposure controls, and much more. Every hazardous chemical at your facility is required to have an accessible SDS, and you have the right to see it at any time. No permission needed, no questions asked. Every SDS follows the same 16-section format under GHS, no matter the manufacturer. That means once you know the layout, you can find what you need fast, whether it's Section 4 for first aid, Section 5 for fire response, or Section 8 for exposure controls and personal protective equipment. The format never changes, which means you'll always know exactly where to look. Your facility is required to keep safety data sheets accessible to every employee during every shift, often through a binder in a central location or a digital database accessible from a workstation computer or mobile device. Know where yours is located before you need it. In an emergency, that's not the time to start searching. Rule 1. Never use an unlabeled container. If you ever encounter a container of liquid, powder, or gas with no label, or a label that's damaged, faded, or missing entirely, do not use it, and do not assume you know what it is based on color or smell. Report it to your supervisor immediately. An unlabeled chemical is an unknown hazard, full stop. Rule 2. Always read the label before first use. Before you use any chemical product for the first time, even something as ordinary seeming as a cleaning spray, take 10 seconds to read the label. Check the signal word, check the pictograms, and check whether any specific protective equipment is required. This one habit prevents more incidents than almost any other single behavior. Rule 3. Use the PPE the label, or SDS requires. If a label or SDS calls for gloves, eye protection, or respiratory protection, that instruction isn't optional or situational. It's the minimum required to use that chemical safely. Skipping it because a task seems quick or routine is exactly how avoidable injuries happen. Rule 4. Know what to do if you're exposed. If you're ever splashed, spilled on, or exposed to a hazardous chemical, know your immediate response before it happens. Locate the nearest eye wash station or safety shower. Flush the affected area as instructed on the label or SDS, and notify your supervisor right away. Knowing this in advance turns a stressful moment into a manageable one. You accidentally splash a small amount of an unfamiliar cleaning chemical on your forearm. There's no visible reaction yet. What should you do first? The answer is B. Flush the exposed area immediately according to the label or SDS instructions, usually with water for several minutes, and notify your supervisor right away, even if nothing seems wrong yet. Some chemical reactions are delayed, and waiting to see what happens can turn a minor exposure into a serious injury. Last question. A coworker hands you a spray bottle they've relabeled with a handwritten sticker that just says, "Cleaner." No pictogram, no hazard statement, no signal word. Is this an acceptable label? The answer is B. Secondary containers, bottles you fill from a larger, properly labeled source, still require hazard information unless the same person fills it and uses it immediately during their shift, with no one else ever handling it. A vague, handwritten label like "cleaner" is not compliant and puts anyone who picks it up next at risk. If you see this, say something. Let's lock these in. Rule 1. Never use an unlabeled or improperly labeled container. Report it instead. Rule 2. Always read the label before using any chemical for the first time. Rule 3. Use whatever PPE the label or SDS requires. Every time, no exceptions. Rule 4. Know your exposure response, where the eye wash station is, and who to notify immediately. If you're ever unsure what a chemical is, what a symbol means, or what protective equipment a task requires, ask your supervisor or check the SDS before proceeding. You are never expected to guess your way through a chemical hazard, and asking a question is always the safer choice than assuming. You now know how to read a chemical label, recognize the 9GHS pictograms, find and use a safety datasheet, and respond correctly if something goes wrong. Hazard communication exists because you have a right to know exactly what you're working with, and now you do. To complete your hazard communication awareness training record, finish the short knowledge check. This training should be refreshed whenever new chemicals are introduced to your work area or periodically as required by your facility's safety program.